Hi, and welcome to Dragon and Unicorn Shooting the Shit. Here we
We're
are
just
on this, the
having
Mayan calendar, spreading joy, saging away, because today is the day for ancestral remembrance and bringing forth our ancestors. I'm overkill. You're shy and introverted.
live from America, across the globe
So,
to New Zealand, everybody.
calling in the spirit in our ancestors, cleansing this space. If there's one thing that Kerrie and I have learned, it's that having a clear space is incredibly important.
As well as a clear mind.
How do we get a clear mind, Kerrie?
Ooh, all begins with focusing on our very breath, which is spirit within us.
Ground it in, lock it in, send it to the earth, roots in the earth. Okay, we do actually have quite a serious subject to talk on and around today. DNA.
Are we getting serious, dragon friend?
Yes, we're getting serious. DNA.
Okay.
DNA that lies within us, that is handed down from ancestor to ancestor, and how that can be damaged, and how it's like do you reckon it's like an AI, like a blueprint that kind of codes and encodes who we are, and that when things happen to our ancestors, it is passed on down, those actual experiences can be passed on down?
Well, I feel a lot. And I must say that even though you say this is a serious subject, I feel it's only time for us to shine and show off our divine intelligence as women. What do you think about that, Juhl? My dragon buddy?
Oh, my wings are sprouting.
Yes, it's a fire day and action is here for certain. And as far as DNA, I'm just going to let you take the show today and you talk about it. And according to the Mayans, it's a time to connect with our ancestors for sure. So we are connected and let's do it.
Yeah, I do think that, I mean, when we're looking at the 5D and what people are calling 5D and the ascension process and that whatnot, it's all about upgrading the DNA, isn't it?
Oh, that's everything, Juhl. It's completely connecting all the way back to the pure essence of our source. And the DNA of humans, we just haven't been told the truth about our existence and our reality. And we're actually more than we know that we are. And so this is just the beginning, talking about DNA.
Um, how do you think it works? Do you think it's like a radio receiver that connects us to source? I mean, a little like a receptor that connects up to source. When they're talking about these DNA upgrades, I don't actually understand it, Kerrie.
Well, this is what I know from within inside myself. And it's very interesting that you would even ask me this, my dragon buddy, because I've never even spoke it out before, but yet I do have this innate knowing. And you are actually drawing this out of me right now, just so you know, like live in the moment, present.
Yeah, well, we are now. What is
Oh,
time? We're not going time. We're not doing time. We're doing DNA.
everybody, this is what happens when you join in with a challenge with your dragon and your unicorn friends. And this, and right now we're doing a manifestation challenge with Juhl Lightheart that she created, and we are day 4 in it live. And this is real. And Juhl, this is why we are real life coaches. Like this is real life, like literally in it live. And so, yes, I know what it's like to connect to source and how to receive, because I have the awareness in me on how to do that as a cosmic conduit.
Yeah,
And
but what? How does that alter our DNA?
once you're able to connect, the DNA is wrapped up around and down the spine, and there is a lot there. It's called our central axis and our staff. And so if you can work with the chakras and you can open them up to be able to connect to that cosmic source that you're mentioning, Juhl, then yes, once you're able to connect to that source, and you know how we're always talking about bringing it down into our root or bringing it into our heart and then bringing it back down to the root or going into Mother Earth and anchoring it, just that process, bringing that light up and down the spine actually create shifts and changes in the DNA. Like, it's really simple, huh?
I wonder about that, because a lot of people are into the Kundalini and the Shakti and Shiva, and or as you say, as the staff. Which, I mean, when you look at the staff and even in the Hippocratic Oath, I mean, that's the who was that, the sign of Enki or something like that, with the staff and the way the energy weaves around the spine. But
the snake. I mean, it's the sign of the what is the American Doctors Academy or whatever in America? Like, they have that symbol, but it's the illusion. Huh?
Caduceus or something.
Yeah, and they have that in America as their symbol, but these doctors are not healing. You know, it's a false representation, because all that's real is love. Everything else is the Maya, the illusion. And so these false systems, they take these symbols that are sacred, these esoteric, deep, meaningful symbols that are actually light, and then they have these symbols hidden in plain sight, and people don't know the truth of these things. So I feel like we're here to disclose and share these well.
Pervert them.
Yes, I didn't know we were going here today. This is wild.
And so the knowledge went underground. Yeah, because people were too powerful when they had their knowledge. So the knowledge was all sent underground into mystery schools. And then they got in and they perverted the knowledge within the mystery schools and made it so that the mystery schools couldn't bring the knowledge out to people. Our children should be being raised with this, with knowing how to connect, how to actually activate their light bodies. Now, I underwent spontaneous Kundalini awakening when I was 24 or so, and I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was going insane. I mean, it was like all of a sudden I was picked up in this kick of recycling. It all became about recycling and saving Mother Earth, and everybody thought I was absolutely nuts. And I didn't understand the energy either. I was being driven from place to place to place, finding out all these little bits of information that came down to be about recycling and using our energy and supporting our energy and supporting the energy of others who are supporting Mother Earth. That, you know, and I couldn't believe that spirit or soul, or that my soul was connected in spirit in such a way that it would all be about this planet. Because isn't spirituality out here? You know?
We're taught that everything is outside of us. And because we have to we have to go outside of ourselves. And it's like, that's a part of the Maya, that's a part of the illusion, that it's all here, like within, like we are the treasure, we are the jewel. And I mean, but even in like Americans, they study the Bible, and there's they say that, you know, America's a Christian nation. Jesus even talked about going in and said, seek inside yourself and everything else will come to pass. But it's not even taught in that way. So everything along the way, as you've been mentioned in the mystery schools, that miscreation has swept through and come in. And so there are these untruths in every little thing and everywhere in different places. I mean, so much so I spoke to a friend yesterday, and she was under the illusion that she was in a contract with somebody in a relationship that she had to stay in. And she said, I've outgrown him. And she said, you know, I'm ready to go and experience another teacher. But she thought that she was in a soul contract. And so I even had to dispel that illusion. And so that's why I'm like, what are these spiritual teachers teaching? So then I helped her see she was never in a contract to begin with, and she's free and sovereign. And boom, one more that was captive now is experiencing mental freedom.
I just cannot believe how it's also about us. So I think that, you know, I have heard that that we do come in with contracts, and I'm not quite sure how much I believe that, especially I know now that I know how much they can actually get in there and tinker with those Akashic records, okay, and actually write bits. So, and also the way they go about getting you to agree with something, just because you have, I mean, if you're at the supermarket and there's apples and oranges and you want fruit, it doesn't mean that you have free will, because there's no grapes, there's no pineapples, there's no cherries, right? There's apples and oranges, so you get to make a choice. And I think that that has happened to a lot of people, especially people I think who call themselves possibly star seeds and things like that. So they've come in without clear, not with true free will, with choices. And I think that that is one of the big deceptions of the matrix, or this earth, is that you can make a choice, but it's not actually free will. But anyway, that's off the track. But
I'm like, are we going there? I'm like, next time.
I know, right? I mean, the level of deception that people have been put under, and the beliefs that we have adopted in order to fit in and belong to the tribe, the tribe that is the family, getting back to that DNA, who have all brought forth their stuff from their tribe that was their family. So we have generations, and people talk about domestic violence and abuse and things like that, and we do find it comes down these family lines. And yes, in certain ways it is held in our DNA, because it does travel down these family lives, because we pick it up in utero, and when we're born, the same systems of oppression or belief systems are all around us, and so we adopt them, not realizing or even knowing that we can think. I've got to fly. Not Australia.
Well, I mean, this is no exaggeration, and everything that you're mentioning is deep, hardcore truths, and this is a part of why I feel like that I've incarnated in, to this world and this time and place in which we exist, and what's going on on the globe and the Mother Earth today. Is yes, this goes back to 12 generations, and so this is the DNA that we're talking about, that we're clearing, going all the way back to 12 generations, and that's not even what's included in trauma in the womb space.
It must, though. It must. Once you begin picking up and clearing that DNA, and you have that connection, and you know how to bring the light in and the light down, and you know how to ground it in the earth and bring it back up and go through, and fill your space with that healing, with spirit, with the energy that is spirit, it must begin to clear what's happened within the womb, what's happened in past lives, what's happened within generational lives. Surely this is what spirit is all about. Spirit has that power to move through everything. I mean, it's the space, isn't it? Spirit is space. And it goes through everything.
Just having the acknowledgement of what you said in the space in which we are, in which we exist, and to be able to bring our attention to the fact of the awareness of our own consciousness and light. I mean, that's huge. And yes, everybody needs to know this, and every child, everybody, this is what we're here for.
Bring it on.
It's coming through. Have no fear. The true message is here, and of course it would come from the woman and the mothers, and from 2 different places in the globe, and just bringing balance through love and light.
Appreciate you.
Dragon buddy!
Unicorn gal! Oh dear. Oh. yeah, that I think that the most underrated thing I think is that grounding in, and that realizing that all we need to do is to think a thought and connect with consciousness and with spirit in the space that is, to have those attachments and those hooks fall away, and to be coming from our heart space. I think that's was the most relative. Like I use a net. I used to use a net for clearing out people's entities, a gold net.
Mm-hmm. I'm aware of this golden net that you speak of.
And I'd sweep them away, and I'd put them in a box. And I still need to do that for for people who aren't quite into the heart space, where they're carrying that joy and they're locked in love. But I'm not sure if it's true that for every different level of consciousness, there's a different form of parasite. But there could be. But I'm finding that as people's vibrations and awareness is rising, I'm not needing to do that so much anymore. I'm not needing to use the hooks, the net to clear and sweep entities. And I think that's because regardless of them knowing, their DNA is being cleared.
I'm discovering that the clearings are just far more simple right now, just because of where everything is at right now. Like you mentioned, not having to sweep the nets, but just a simple transmission of light. And I'm noticing just instant frequency shifts and movements. And so, yeah.
Is that an acknowledgement of where we are?
I think it has to do with the shift that happened for both of us at the eclipse.
See, this is something we're not hearing much about, is it? I'm since the eclipse, and yet it's changed.
I mean, this is what we're here for. That's why we're not hearing about it.
But the world has changed. It has really changed. And I think that those DNAs are going through a lot more easier. I mean, down at the supermarket, I'm talking to a lady down at the supermarket, and she's talking to me about bankers and about the interest rates and how the Reserve Bank's done this and the Reserve Bank's done that. And it's all just, oh my goodness, this woman is awake.
Well, Dragon Buddy, that is because we are in it. I announced it on the I Am Simply Kerrie page, and we are literally in it now in this apocalypse, which in Greek literally means uncovering and a disclosure of knowledge or revelation. So this is disclosure day, baby. We're in it today, and the knowledge is here. It's being uncovered. People are waking up everywhere.
All those veils. What have we got going on? We've got the Pizza Gate. No one's we've got those false
over, and it is time. And as a mother, I have to share that it is time that this pedophilia is disclosed. And I came out about it on Me Too. So, I mean, this is how we do it. We come together as women, and we rise, and we no longer stay secret, and we come out and we voice and we voice and we voice and we talk about it. And it's how we bring the balance. And like me and you, we are like doing it in it now.
I'm hoping that like we've discussed our ancestors, but as mothers we are ancestors to our descendants, and I'm hoping that more women will be raising their children more awake and aware and connected, because it's got to start somewhere. We can't be suddenly getting to 24 and having a Kundalini experience, not knowing what the F is going on. This is a birthright, isn't it?
Well, it is a divine inheritance, and it's a birthright, and it's something that everyone on the planet should be able to experience. And being in this apocalypse right now, and the cabal being dissolved and everything that's going on, I think now's the time that this message gets out, so that every child and woman and family in America and across the globe, all the way to New Zealand, as we balance this out and bring this out, we teach this, and it's time, because it's here. And if, I came from a lot of programming. And you and I have talked about the MK Ultra programming. And I read earlier today in my research that those who have been MK Ultra programmed from birth will usually start remembering in their 30s. And so that's whenever everything started happening for me. And it was actually after a death experience. And then, of course, you know, I chose to come back because I have this mission and this purpose now. And it's time to get it out. So, I mean, we all need to know all of these things. That's why let the questions out. You know, even if the beginning is just talking about our ancestors and our DNA and saying, hey, we're here, like here now. If you have any questions about any of this, right? If you have any questions about anything we're talking about and discussing, like, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah. It really is this easy, guys. It really is that easy to heal your DNA. You just have to connect with source, ground it in the earth, take it back up and bring it back down. And it's easier if you're, well, I don't know, I integrated my lower chakra into my heart and my top into my heart. But I did that about 2 years ago. I mean, I woke up one day, well, I didn't actually. I went to bed one day and I was closing my eyes and I could just see. So my light body was full on activated. I don't, and I mean, I couldn't sleep because, I could just see. It was like light was everywhere.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Where you go? Tell me about how did your light body kick in?
Well, what I was feeling like as you mentioned this is so powerful because I'm seeing, you know, that there is ease in this and how we can, you know, bring others into this space to connect in this way within themselves. But you know, Juhl, how you're always mentioning if more can just be, you know, and it's important for us to be able to get to the point of just being before we could be with ourselves in that way.
Well, and this is what I was thinking, you know, I've recently seen some teachers coming out and saying, oh, you just do it and you just be. And I had to really think about that because into my just being, I had done a lot of chakra work. I had worked on mukbah. I had done a lot of meditation. It didn't just, like, I think now, the way I feel now is it's about, things just happen, and they just happen quite instantly, be it resistance or be it something good, a good manifestation. It happens pretty instantly if I put my mind there, so I've got to be very careful. And I wonder about how much of this earth school is about learning to control that mind so we're not creating mayhem everywhere. But getting back to so, you know, because we're not raised with those energy systems and we're not raised with that knowledge, and because it's been denied, be it by patriarchy, be it by church, by whatever, because we did these things naturally as children. We travelled out of it. I can remember travelling out of my body as a child. And I can remember talking with fairies as a child. And then it's like the world, or that got shut down somehow. You weren't allowed to daydream. You weren't allowed to do. So I had to reawaken that. And can you imagine how incredibly powerful our children would be if they hadn't had placed upon them, if they had been raised with this knowledge?
I have seen my daughter in her full power, and you know, I look back and I think, oh my gosh, why would I even come to this place at such a time as this and everything that happened? Because you know, she's been human trafficked, and my life has come under attack. So I've began to remember who I am and use my gifts, and so it's been interesting because she is super powerful, and I say she's my greatest teacher, and obviously she has to be powerful to be able to be where she's at right now, because I know that for me, I feel that I've been able to retain my light no matter what. And that's just who I am. And I feel that as we begin to put these truths out, then everybody will remember, because that's just where we're at right now. In the whole cosmic scale of the whole entire mother of all universe herself.
We could explore that a little bit, actually, about how you actually came under attack and what you did to move beyond that.
Well, and that too, and we need to get this message out to Laura Eisenhower, the granddaughter of President Eisenhower, because these are some wonderful affiliations and women in today's today to honor all the women in these fields who have come before us. And yes, I mean, my daughter Freedom Grace, I am in the courts right now, and I have the most amazing law consultant, and basically we're standing up for our actual constitutional rights. And there's a lot going on in America today that there is to talk about. So we could go anywhere, you know, whatever we do, just like I said, for the highest and best for us in the whole, and to just get our action steps out here and just fulfill our life purpose and mission and do our work. That answers the question. I'm open. As long as for the highest and best for me and you and we and all of the highest and best for the whole entire Mother Earth.
And yeah, humanity, yeah. Because we humans are coming under attack. We're coming under attack in so many ways. And I think this is another thing that relates to our DNA. I think we are the repository of many different races. Not just human races, but possibly alien races within our DNA. I think we hold some of their sequencing, and I think that makes us a valuable commodity off-world. So how's that for out there, Kerrie? Putting it out there.
Dragon Buddy, I'm your friend, fully sure-footed and along for this magic carpet ride. And so whatever comes, you know, we are both working in these same realms and fields, and wherever it is to lead, you got me, babe. I'm here showing up every day.
What do you think they are? Do you think they're aliens or entity or multidimensionals?
I feel that we're all multi-dimensional beings, because we are. And it's all about awakening and remembering and uncovering the original DNA. And this is something that, you know, most everyday people on the earth really aren't thinking or talking about. But obviously, you know, you mentioned it, so you're opening the door, and we're live and we're here now and we're walking through it together. You open the door, I guess I'll walk through it with you. Star Wars isn't just a movie.
Life story.
How's that for simplicity? Star Wars is not just a movie.
Yeah, well, I can relate. I do have some memories of way past, of different, very different pasts. So that's quite interesting. That's why I'm Dragon Lady.
I've always dreamed of having a dragon friend, and during our day, I feel like we're on walkie-talkies together sometime. It's really magical.
I love having a unicorn buddy. It's just beautiful. Yeah, I do. And this uncovering, as I've, you know, it's so hard. I just really have to trust to source that what is coming down and what is moving through is for my highest good. And I think that is essential, and that it is coming, that I am coming from a place of love, and that I am programming everything around me with love. Because if I were to let myself, live in the life that I used to have, I don't think I would be out of it. You know how you say you managed to maintain your light, you managed to maintain your source because everything was coming at it to grab it. So I think we've been very blessed in that way. And I just want to honour those women who have lost their lives through these systems that have been placed upon them. The witch burnings, these herbalist women who were doing their thing. You know, we're women, we gather pretty stones. We know, we have this ingrained memory of the way crystals and things work, you know, and they lost their life.
We're the women and the mothers who abide in the deepest spaces of our sacred heart spaces, you know, and know that life is sacred, which is why we continue to live in these ways.
I love, that's one of my favorite sayings of yours, is that all life is sacred.
That's because it is. All of it. I mean, even the trees, they put off the air for us to breathe, and some, like, we don't even acknowledge and give them gratitude, you know, and for like just how we've lost connection to nature herself. And so I'm here definitely to say, like, show gratitude to the trees. They're alive.
I think that is possibly the first step to reconnecting with source and reconnecting with spirit. Is
the ancestor earth walk. Second step.
I walk as my ancestors walk.
I feel as my ancestors felt. I see as my ancestors saw.
Socks off, ladies. Whoever's watching, socks off, outside. Take yourself outside. Walk in your bare feet upon the earth. And exactly as Kerrie said, I walk as my ancestors walk. I feel as my ancestors feel. I touch as my ancestors touch. And experience with your 3D self this earth, how she was and how she is in the raw, in the naked. There's so much power in that, Kerrie. So much power. Natural shaman.
Yes, so much so. I have heard that some American podiatrists actually tell their foot patients not to walk on the earth, that it's harmful to their feet. And yes, I kid you not, this is happening in my realm right now.
No.
Yes, in my realm right now. In my room right now, and I'm having to say, just take off your shoes. Go walk outside and trust the mother. She's meant for this. I mean, because she's meant for this. She's meant to literally, when we connect on her, to transmute and to take out everything that is not for our best. We're transmuters, Juhl, but like the mother, like, she's transmuter herself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm gonna go walk on the earth now.
Same.
I didn't do it earlier today, but I did ride my bicycle.
Good.
Hey, Juhl, would you believe it? Like, however many months ago in time, how I had that fear of not leaving the house, and where I am today because of clearing the trauma programming and just how far I've come. So yes, mastering our mind is essential. That's why I teach it.
Same.
Sister, let's master the mind together. Yeah, thoughts are real. They're not just things. Thoughts are things, yes, but they're real. And create with our thoughts. So.
It's what we think is what we create. And do you want to be creating mayhem, or do you want to be creating love, peace, bliss, joy?
Divine creations or miscreations? It's your choice.
I like that. There's another little catchy little poppy up one.
I'm Sister Kerrie, she that exists for YouTube. And then we got Juhl Lightheart at juhllightheart.com. Hey, they'll find us. I mean, who wouldn't want to work with this?
And what's our action step for today? Get your shoes off and walk outside?
Yes, and today is Fire Day, which is action in this manifesting challenge. And oh my gosh, wait till we get to talk about the divine feminine and masculine. This is up.
Love you, buddy. Take care, everyone.
Dragon tails and unicorn friends. Dragon tails and unicorn friends. Dragon tails and unicorn friends.